Well, I don't know how to start this anyway. You go right from the beginning. I was born up in the Snowy Mountains. Born 1893. Moved here on this side of the river in 1898. That's when the outlaws were running wild up there in the mountains. Around the mission, they hung around there quite a bit. The priest was pretty friendly with them. I even see him going to church. You'd hear him coming in with his spurs on, you know. There's 4 or 5 of them in there. They used to tie their horses all in a bunch. They tie the line from one stirrup to the other. That way it kept the horses all in a pile. And if they got in a hurry, they could run out there and just jerk a line and get on, and they were gone, you know. It was all horse-based, and the horses, buggy, wagons, whatever he had, you know, transportation. Didn't know what the heck a car was. In fact, the first car I ever saw, I thought it was a grizzly bear coming down the road. There was smoking and dust and noise, and oh my gosh, I don't know. And there's a bunch of us kids up in Fort Shaw there, and there's a road comes from Sun River heading up towards Augusta. And this here, we called it a runaway team, you know, a buggy going down the road and without no horses. And one of the smart alecky kids says, "There goes the horses over there." And then it is funny. There were no horses. Hell, it was this here, tin cans. I don't know what the heck it was. It was mostly smoke, tin cans, and noise is what it was. We thought it was a grizzly bear coming down out of the mountains getting a cherry patch first, because we headed for school in a hurry too. We kept looking back and we saw this here buggy, no horses with it. Now that is funny. Something like that going down the road, you know. But anyway, to go back, way back there, from Flat Willow, after my father died, I think things went to the dogs, and my mother, she got to, one place, Stay Away Joe, you know. I guess everybody's read that book, and that was what happened at home. We had a few head of cattle, 40, 50 head. Every now and then we'd see a bunch of them breed boys go up and drive the cattle down there, a bunch of white faces, I remember. Well, we'd go down in the corral and we'd hear a shot, and me and my brother, we were always there, a couple of fresh stick horses, you know. We'd get on these stick horses and lope down there, see what was going on, and they'd be skinning the beef. And, well, the next morning there'd be, beef was all gone. You eat it all up, you know. Dance all night, and towards morning they'd send for some whiskey from Grass Range. It isn't very far down there. It's 8-10 miles, I guess. And come back, and then there'd be a free-for-all till about 10 o'clock. Just when they knock down and drag out, you know. Everybody's fighting, kids and all. Anyway, after we got everything pretty well ate up, you know, everything sold, and everybody was dried their whiskey out, and we took a notion. There was a hanging in Lewistown. This was in 1898. That Johnny Calder, Billy Calder, he'd killed Dan McCraw there on Crooked Creek, right across the river from where we used to live. And a sheep herder. They killed old Dan and his sheep herder. They loaded him in the camp wagon, or caboose, or the camp wagon, and went down and burnt the body at the mussel shell. And there happened to be a rancher way the heck down the mussel shell, and we saw this big light down there at night, and he never done nothing that night. Next day, he went down there and he tracked these sheep and looked around where they had this great big fire. There was a bunch of driftwood. They'd burnt all this driftwood up, and you see pieces of buckles from overalls and stuff, and buttons. And they knew from that there was something suspicious. So he went back up to some place there, and I think they got in touch with the law in Lowstown. And Tom Shaw, I knew him, and Jim Martin, they came down, and they caught up to this here Billy Calder at Forsyth. Well, instead of him, the ferry boat was across the river. Instead of him calling for the boat and kind of taking it easy, why he started cussing this ferryman out. So the ferryman said, "You just go to hell, you can stay there. Well, I give a darn with sheep and all of them." So in the meantime, the law come down and caught him. Him and his partner. He had a partner there, but he had the partner there. He threatened to kill this guy if the guy didn't help him. So that was in 98. Well, that's as they hung him. He was there for 2 years in Lowstown jail for 2 years before they decided to hang him. We went there, but I don't remember a heck of a lot. I've seen a guy standing up there, with his hands tied behind him, or it wasn't tied, I couldn't tell, but I figured he did anyway. And there's a guy with a dress on, black dress, and a rag around his neck, reading a book, and that happened to be the priest, I guess, the Catholic priest. In fact, the priest's name was Dimony. He baptized me and my brother that same afternoon. But I didn't see him drop. But my brother, he's fighting all the time, and he had a kid down, choking the hell out of him, and I went over to help this poor little kid that he had down, and pulled my brother over backwards so the poor little kid could get away from my brother. Well, that's when I heard the screaming, all this screaming, I figured that's about the time this guy dropped. And I don't know what they done with the body. I think it took it back to Illinois. These folks were really well-to-do back there. They had merchandise store and every darn thing, and they broke them trying to get this goddamn hound out from keeping from hanging him. They hung him anyway. But they sent the body back to Illinois with them. So I read that story way after that in True West, or one of them books, and it didn't correspond with what I knew about it, about that guy they called this fellow, this old sheepman McCrae. Well, it was McCraw, because this here Perry that bought that Al Green place down, not Al Green, but Al Dorr place, Ben Manning. Yeah, he claims, I asked him, who owned that to start with. He said a guy by the name of McCraw. Well, that's this guy that got killed, but Billy Calder killed. He had a sheep outfit, or not. He had a pretty good-sized band of sheep, 35, 40, 100, But he was one of them on Crooked Creek when the guy went over there and decided to kill him, I guess. Steal this whole band of sheep, now that's something. Steal a few head of sheep, all right, but when there's 3,000 to 4,000 head, well, that's quite a few. But he got as far as Forsyth, and if he could have crossed the river, I don't know what he'd done with him. He chanced around made it. Well, in the meantime, my father happened to die about then. And my father died 2 years before that. Yeah, that was it. And that's how come we got to go to that hanging 2 years later. And, well, that was all for this year. Billy Calder took his body back to Illinois, I guess. That's where he was originally from. He's a regular outlaw kid anyway. He was pretty tough. And that's good riddance. They had another killing. They had two killings there after that. Old John Doney shot one of them. Old Joe Charette, maybe a lot of people know him. He had one of these 32 Smith & Wesson little six-shooters, used to carry with him all the time. And old John Doney looked around to see where he could get a gun. This guy was after him. This rattlesnake Jake was after him. And every time he'd see John, he'd take a shot at John, but John was on the move and he couldn't hit him very good. John got in and he drugged Joe Shred out from under the bar or the place where they were waiting on him, He drugged him out of there and got his six-shooter and he ran to the door, and this rattlesnake Jake just happened to lope up there, and old John shot him and hit him right in the lower jaw, and it just knocked him off his horse. Of course, it knocked him dizzy, I suppose. Then everybody else took a shot at him. They claimed he had about 26 bullets in him. And then Dan Crowley killed the other one. He was coming down the line with a six-shooter in each hand and the bridle reins in his mouth. And six-shooter in each hand, he was shooting at everything, anything you could look at. And old Dan Crowley just stepped out there with his buffalo gun and knocked him over. Well, that settled that killing. There was 2 killings there in a little while. They just threw the rope around their feet and drug him up over the hill and piled rocks on him. That's how they buried him. Never did hear what happened to him after that. But old John Doney was the one really knocked that guy off his horse to start with. They claim it was somebody else, some big shot, and they claim that old John Doney shot the tip of this rattlesnake Jack's finger. Well, how in the hell could he shoot the tip of his finger? 26 bullet holes in him. But he got credit for it finally after they found out the truth. So anyway, after we come across the river and wound up in St. Paul's Mission. Stayed there for about 10 years, I guess. No folks, no nothing, no home. Really had a rough time there quite a while. In the meantime, my brother, he broke both of his arms. Got to fighting him way upstairs in the top building, and one of them brothers kicked him in the hind end and knocked him all the way down, broke both arms. So they kept him with them, nuns, for a long time. Finally, they got in touch with the folks, and they come and got him. But TB set in, and TB of the bone setting on him, and that killed him. But they buried him right there in the mission, right back to the old horse barn. Then, let's see. After we got out of that mess, I think I got rheumatism or some darn thing, or got so darn weak from starvation or some darn thing. The folks come and got me anyway and took me home. Then we went from there, from Pine Ridge, we call it, or Pine Butte, over in the Judith Mountains. We went there and then come back across the river and went to work for Phillips, B.D. Phillips. They were building some ditches on some desert claims, they call them, You could build a ditch and take a barrel of water and have a witness there that they seen water running down the ditch. All you had to do was empty this one barrel of water where the ditch is running kind of downhill, and he'd have to swear that he saw water running in that ditch, Well, that's how they worked it. It was just land swindles, all it was. But old B.D. got caught at it. He got a year in the pen, I think. I think he had to serve his time down in Oakland. He got a year anyway from it, frauding the government or some damn thing. Well, we stayed there till that fall. Well, there's a couple government men come. Oh, they were really from school at Fort Shaw, and they were looking around for some Chippewas or any kind of an Indian they could get. They wanted to fill a school there at Fort Shaw, and they drove down to Phillips's there, and of course, when folks really wanted to get rid of us anyway, me and my sister, so they signed us up right there. Had to be down at Fort Belknap, that's here, to get examined so we could take the train and go to Fort Shaw. I was there about a year, and I joined the brass band and the orchestra, and so I had it pretty neat there for quite a while. I finally got the rheumatism again and had to come home. Well, after that, I went to work at the mission. Oh, that was 1908, and in 1909, I took the brass band and went down to Harlem. They was having the 4th of July celebration, and we went down there and played all the music we could. That is, we made all the noise we could anyway. It sounded like music, I guess, but not to me. It was just a brass band, you know, and that's all kinds of noise, all pounding one bunch. And we combined Charlie Blackbird and George Fox, and there's somebody else come up from the agency, and that is after the celebration was over, and went to Lodgepole, and first place I struck was old man Powderface. He called me over, and he's an old Arapaho, and he started talked Grovant. I could understand the Grovant, and the Arapaho was pretty much the same, a little different though, different words. So he wanted to adopt me. So I went through the adoption. About 10 o'clock next day, I see a bunch of chiefs coming over there. There's 5 of them. There was a Crow and Assiniboine, Sioux, Arapaho, and a Grovant. There was all 5 there. But all I had to do was just go up and shake hands with them. That's all I had to do. Old man Powderface, he done the talking. And after that, my mother, she got a hold of me. That is my Indian mother. She got a hold of me and dressed me up like a regular little savage and give me a beaded dress and a pair of them Indian chaps, you know. So they just kind of leggings is all they were. And beaded though, and put some bells on my feet, and I was really raring to go. And I did too. I went in. They had a dance on there, and I was sure ringing my tail, I'll tell you. I used to do that pretty good. I was pretty active. So I stayed with them till, the old man took a notion he had to go to Oklahoma. Wanted to know if I wanted to go along, and I didn't know what the heck to make of it. And they had a little boy there, a grandson, little Black Crow, Georgie Black Crow, his name was, and I told the old man Powderface, I said, I want to take Georgie to school. No, he says, too much upstairs. He says, you get sore on your knees. He says, don't put nothing in your belly. That's the truth, too, you know. There's too much praying. You never learn nothing, he said. Well, they took that poor little feller and sent him to Carlisle. No, not Carlisle, but Chemawa. And I got a letter from Frank McConnell. He went down there about the same time. And he said that poor little kid just grieved himself to death. He said he'd go away from the school and he was hollering for me and his grandmother all the time. He just starved himself to death. He said they buried your little partner this morning. He said he was hollering for you all the time. Oh, I was sorry for him. I could just as well had him, you know. He'd have been contented with me because I knew him. Oh, I had a lot of fun with that little stinker. He caused me a lot of trouble too, the little bugger.